Here's the thing I don't understand.
I'm ready when you
the
are.
company is worth billions.
Yes.
And every time I pick up the paper, each year it loses more money than it lost the year before. The company's never made a profit.
That's right.
Now, why? How does it? Why? How does that? Why?
Seems like a new math, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's to someone who doesn't know anything about this. It's amazing. You know, we lost 12 million last year, and we're doing great.
Well, there are a whole series of Doonesbury cartoons about this. This is not a new phenomenon. We are a famously unprofitable company,
right.
And we are investing in the future. It's not, which isn't unusual. Companies have done this before. What's a little surprising about Amazon.com is the scale to which we're doing it. We're doing it in a big way.
I see. So you just keep reinvesting.
We're reinvesting.
I mean, Jeff is absolutely right. There's literally a part of my next upcoming book, Underdogs, where I talk a lot about this. Let me just say a few things. First, this is the classical difference between being a venture and a small business. These are not the same things. And it's why, particularly in South Africa, I get very irritated when the government allocates money to small business and thinks that that includes everybody. Ventures and startups are very different to small businesses. They're just not the same. Now, you can have a venture that's a small business, right? But not every single startup or venture is a small business. And what Jeff Bezos here is talking classically about is the mathematics of building a startup. So, for instance, in the old school of finance and accounting I went to, I was taught that the motive of a business is to return capital to shareholders and maximize shareholder wealth. And one of the ways you capture this is in the profit motive, right? So you have to maximize profits. Now, this is venture economics, which is not necessarily maximizing present day profits, but maximizing forecasted and future profits. And one of the ways they do this is they start managing things like user growth. The expectation here is that as the number of users or customers grows, so too does the profits into the future. They also measure stuff like the customer acquisition cost versus the lifetime value. The idea is that your lifetime value of a customer should be higher than the cost of acquiring that customer. So there are a number of metrics that you measure in venture economics that are very different to the metric you measure in a classical small business that is a CC or an LLC, and it has its management accounts published. It's got to generate a profit. It pays 28% corporate income tax based on where in the world you are, 9% in the UAE, and that's the type of business. And I would say to every single entrepreneur watching this, just be very clear on what you're building. Building a venture and a startup is very, very different to building a small business, and these shouldn't be treated the same way.